Hi, it's James, otherwise known as Escape Punk Lefty. I know it's been 2 weeks, but we are back with another video. See, today we are going to be going over this video about Nancy Pelosi, and we're going to talk a little bit about stagnation in U.S. politics from her so-called concerns about the Israel-Palestine conflict and the protesters that are sort of representing the how I want to say interest of Palestinian people, which is pretty much just not dying or starving to death, wherever people want to do that. But anyway, seriously though, Nancy Pelosi, really made me mad in this clip because as an American leftist, I am forced to align with and vote for liberals in office. And it seems like for a month or two they'll be doing really good shit, making a lot of sense, doing common sense reforms or overturning like obviously despicable, stupid shit that Republicans put in place. Then they do shit like this, or how Joe Biden backed down from Greg Abbott pretty much partaking in insurrectionary secessionist behavior about the border, or Nancy Pelosi here downplaying the concerns of the Israel Palestinian protesters and trying to relate it to foreign adversaries, we will say. It's like, I forget the name of the term, but it's like a wrench effect where politics in the United States, it seems, especially over the past 60 or 70 years, has gotten increasingly right wing and is not allowed to turn back to the left. And this dishonest misrepresentation, the change of subjects in, despicable dishonesty has been used throughout American history by both liberals and conservatives to dismiss the claims and needs of left wing people. And this clip of what this bitch really did, you know, and it's not just her, it's people like Fetterman, dumbass too, but people like her, what people like Nancy Pelosi do is, their flagrant dishonesty, their lack of willingness to engage with actual concerns of working Americans, the fact that, like I said, they will do a few good things but stop short of answering some principal questions. And I guess at the end of the day, the problem with the Democrat Party and why they will not embrace sort of not only is Nancy Pelosi probably a freak of nature capitalist piece of shit and a white supremacist in her own regards in some way, I'm sure, but left wing populism and socialist rhetoric actually threaten the status quo and helps working people, while right wing populism, like the shit that Trump, Vivek Ramaswamy, or no Marjorie Taylor Greene do, does not hurt the status quo and does not hurt money interests. And I see, clearly in today's world where Democrat and Republicans in our countries work closely with billionaires and millionaires to maintain their class interests. Because of course, a lot of people that are politicians, unfortunately, are the elite. And at least if they were to be the elite, I would prefer at least some of them be like leftist intellectuals and not jackasses. And it's like everything from conflating socialism, like that one Chris Matthews clip where he was whining like a bitch talking about some they would have took him to Central Park, from all the way to Joe Biden whining about the Constitution when people asked him about police reform and helping working people, all the way to this bitch's flagrant dishonesty about the Israel Palestine conflict. It's it's unbelievable. Like the stagnation and ignorance and the callous disregard for the concerns of voters. And it's like, I want to make a case for leftists to vote for Joe Biden, but it's hard to fucking do that when you got them doing shit like this. I feel like I'm gonna vote one way or another at the end of the day. But it's like, watching this clip, I just don't understand why she did this. I just don't understand.
Events around the country where people told their story, their story. He has said he was disappointed that the Senate did not terminate their access to health care. That's what we're organizing around. And people are saying it in their own personal experience, in their own language.
One of the challenges that Democrats might have in organizing is some anger in some corners of the progressive movement over Joe Biden's support for Israel in its war against Hamas terrorists. How concerned are you, especially given the fact that
I barely even like this framing of it, because pretty much at the end of the day, what's going on over in Gaza is not really. I'm not gonna say it's not a war, but it's a fucking travesty. It's an atrocity what those people are being forced to go through. Keep in mind, like, we keep talking about the lack of resources, the fact that a lot of people that live in Gaza are women and children, and when you add all this up in your head, it gets, it's tough to like even consider this a fair war, where you got one country with a navy, air force, and fully armed soldiers fighting a bunch of people with AK-47s and sugar rockets. Not saying Hamas are good people. I would never say that. Damn sure won't see me interviewing a Houthi rebel talking about some he's just like everybody else, because they're not. They're terrible pieces of shit. But you already know the history. Israel propped up Hamas to be the legitimate government of Palestine and being a representation of the Palestinian people, to smear the Palestinian people with Islamic extremism rather than a more secular Fatah or the communist movements that are going on in Palestine. But let's keep going.
we have seen protesters over and over and over at his events. How concerned are you that young people, Arab Americans, progressives, I'm not suggesting that they're going to go vote for Donald Trump, but how concerned are you that they might just stay home?
Well, let me just say this, because I've been the recipient of their, shall we say, exuberances in this regard as recently as in Seattle on Thursday. Unfortunately, wanted to disrupt our very exciting democratic meeting there. They're in front of my house all the time.
Good.
So I have a feeling for what feelings they have. But we have to think about what we're doing. And what we have to do is try to stop the suffering in Gaza. This is women and children, people who don't have a place to go. So let's address that. But for them to call for a ceasefire is Mr. Putin's message. Mr. Putin's message. Make no.
See, what's really fucked up about this, and I hope that this video isn't too loud. I turned down my desktop recording audio, so maybe that helped, but that's a little loud for me. This bitch is tripping, bro. First of all, Netanyahu and Putin are friends. They get along with one another. So do I even really have to say anything else after that? The fact that these two autocratic fascist pieces of shit get along with one another. So how the fuck is and then number two, this cold-hearted, stupid bitch is really up here dismissing the concerns of her voters and creating a fucking conspiracy theory to justify ignoring people's fucking concern. This bitch made that up on the spot in her head. Everybody on fucking earth knows or can find the truth about the nature of the Israel-Palestine conflict and understand what's actually going on in fucking Gaza. This bitch literally said whatever was on her mind. And then, not to mention the fact that we will also say, and keep in mind, this isn't the fucking Cold War, by the way, so Russian propaganda up your ass, bitch. But we will also say Russians help Republicans. Russians work with the fucking Republicans because they are fascists. They work together. This is the most cold-hearted, callous, bitch way that this motherfucker could have thought of to dismiss the concerns of millions of people, including myself, across this country. And the point of me making this video is also to talk about they have to fucking do this with every fucking concern people that are further to the left than them bring to the fucking table. They have to do this shit with wages. They do this with unionization. They do this with police reform. They do this with anything that can upset the status quo and actually benefit working people here or abroad, and go on these stupid conspiratorial speeches that have absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about. This, as far as I'm concerned right now, Nancy Pelosi is using conservative tactics. She does what fascists do. You're talking about something completely different and removed from the subject matter that was presented to you. Nobody said shit about no fucking Russia. You made up a conspiracy theory on the fucking spot. And you can tell by how much I'm ranting about this shit is that I'm really fucking pissed. Because this shit right here is everything that's destroying the fucking working class in America. When people bring, and it's like, I don't know if it's a reason continuing, because I think I made my point. Democrats need to keep this in mind. When working class people bring you legit grievances, and I'm not talking about shit like white grievance training seminars or gay books in classrooms. I'm talking about like legitimate grievances, bad shit that's going on and happening. You know what I'm saying? Don't dismiss people because of, actually engage with the subject. And if you disagree on the merits of what's being talked about. Don't make up a fucking conspiracy theory about the Constitution. Don't say shit like, oh, blacks in the inner city actually like the police being there, because we don't. Trust me. They do this about every fucking subject, bro. This dismissiveness. And it's like, don't get me wrong, Republicans are way worse with it. But Democrats do this shit too when it comes to pivotal issues that can really make a difference in this country and on this earth. And I'm tired of seeing it, man. I'm really tired of it. Because it's come time and time again from things like minimum wage. It's come time and time again from things like better health care and the Build Back Better plan and child tax credit, which some Democrats voted to get rid of and shit like that. But my point being is that Nancy Pelosi here, what she did in this video, this dismissive, cold-hearted bitch, callous disregard for the concerns of her voters because it's something too far to the left for her. It's something, too taboo for her to engage with. This stupid motherfucker really invented a conspiracy theory on the spot. And this type, and it's like I said, and I can't say it enough time in this video, and of course this is the title, I believe. This type of shit, this dismissiveness of people's concerns is what's destroying America. Like fucking literally grinding the working class down to a fucking husk. And people abroad as well. So I guess we'll continue, but there's no reason to. And Democrats need to stop this shit. Because this type of shit, bro, it enables the fascists. Because it's already bad enough that y'all suck at y'all jobs. And then the only thing besides y'all we have are neoconservatives and fascists. And to keep them out of office, we gotta vote for y'all. And then when you do shit like this, dismissing people's concerns, you cause more and more people not to vote. And, and it's like, I can't force those people to vote. But it's just, I guess my thing is the morality of it all. Just do the right fucking thing. Guess that's too much to ask, though.
No mistake, this is directly connected to what he would like to see. Same thing with Ukraine. It's about Putin's message. I think some of these...
Please break down to me how these two completely unrelated topics that you would take different stances on accordingly have anything to fucking do with each other. Because at the end of the day, in America, ironically enough, and well, it depends on how far right you are, the right-wing position in America on these two subjects is to be anti-Ukraine and pro-Israel. Ironically enough, and the left-leaning position is to be pro-Ukraine and anti-Israel. So, not only just that these two statements are contradicting each other, what the fuck are you, like, this conflation makes absolutely no sense with one another. Not to mention the fact you got at least, even though Ukraine is a lot smaller and like technically weaker than Russia, but holding its own thanks to the subsidies and the military equipment from the West, at least that's two states fighting each other. What the fuck is Israel doing? They're fighting, like I said, people with some mediocre body armor, sugar rockets, and AK-47s. These are two completely different conflicts with two completely different kinds of people on both sides of them. Not to mention how complicated the shit in Palestine is versus the, because it's clear cut with Ukraine, Russia. Russia's in the wrong, complete clear cut. But the complex socio-political history of everything that's happened in Israel and Palestine is not comparable. It's not comparable. Because so many different people, because of what's going on in the Gaza Strip right now, there's so many different people that want so many different fucking things. So this comparison is moot. I really don't understand why this motherfucker said that.
Some of these protesters are spontaneous and organic and sincere. Some, I think, are connected.
No, this shit is not new. The fucking liberation of Palestine, people protesting for Palestine, has been a thing long before I was born. Bitch, you were alive probably in 1948 when this shit started. This shit has been going since Israel was interned as a state, since probably towards the end of the British Mandate. So this bullshit about how these protesters are coming out of nowhere is bullshit, bro. It's fucking bullshit. And I'm sure to a large extent by AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Jamal Bowman, and like Cori Bush and shit, your stupid ass has been told multiple fucking times about how voters are, and then you can see it in polls, because ironically enough, even some Republicans don't agree with what the fuck Israel is doing. So you are completely out of touch and it's like she's both. I don't know if this motherfucker is lying to herself or is she lying to the audience about what we believe and what we want. Because this shit doesn't add up. This shit doesn't add up at all. Like you're doing both, one or the other. I don't fucking know, but this is bullshit. These protests are not coming out of nowhere. You've been told multiple times contemporarily, I'm sure, after the shit happened, when it sparked up, I think, was that a year or two ago and stuff like that? You were told about it. You've been getting told about this shit your whole life. That it's a lot of Democrat voters that don't like what the fuck is going on in Israel and in Palestine. You've been told about this your whole fucking political career. So don't act like this shit is new, like Putin all of a sudden got some people to organize a protest. And then not to mention, these protesters are leftists. They're socialists, communists, anarchists, social democrats, and smart liberals. These people's political ideologies and the things that they want to see in the world align nothing with what the Russian government stands for or want nowadays. And it's like, the only way you can justify saying this shit, shit as stupid as this, is if you're still living in the Cold War. Get on your meds, girl.
To Russia, and I say that having looked at this for a long time now, as you know.
You think some of these protests are Russian plants?
I don't think they're plants. I think some financing should be investigated.
Even the fucking interviews, financing. Oh my fucking God, bro. You gonna have the FC. This is like that. This is the kind of shit right here that literally got Martin Luther King and Fred Hampton and Malcolm X killed. And I'm sure many other civil rights advocates that names escape me. Judith Butler, Rosa Luxemburg. That type of shit gets good people killed for no fucking reason. This bitch is fucking, and I have to say the R word, I'm sorry. This bitch is fucking retarded. She's a piece of shit. That type of language gets people killed. When you build this fault, first of all, man, and it's like they do this with, like I said, this is not the only subject they do this with. Every time somebody is discontented with or not satisfied with what's going on in the world, it does not always every fucking time have something to do with funding from the outside. Most of the fucking protests, man, not even most of them, a decent amount of them, are done by working people and student organizations with a little time on their fucking hands, or protest groups like Detroit Will Breathe and shit like that. Ain't nobody fucking getting no fucking millions of dollars. What you do, and let me tell you how protests work, Nancy, is you don't get paid to protest. You go to protest for free because you decided that this cause is really important to you. They did the same thing in the 60s and 70s. They did the same thing, I'm sure, throughout the 80s and 90s, and the anti-Iraq protests, and the anti-Vietnam War protests, and the original black and LGBT civil rights protests from the 60s and 70s, all the way up to Black Lives Matter in 2020. You do not get paid by anybody to go to these protests. You do not get paid by anybody to repeat these talking points or feel the way that you do. The problem is, Nancy, what you and Joe Biden and some other Democrats like Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema need to realize is that y'all are fucking failures. Y'all are embarrassment, shameful pawns for, hierarchies and systems that need to be fucking done away with. And at every turn, y'all motherfuckers and a lot of, the billionaires and rich people and super PACs resist change at every fucking turn that you can. You flex your power to keep people in poverty. You flex your fucking power so that Israel can continue, it's, at the end of the day, genocide. I was trying not to go there. It continue its genocide against the Palestinian people. Like, that language gets people fucking killed. And it's a desperate way to try to delegitimize the fact that people sometimes feel strongly about certain subjects. Like, for instance, they did this shit during when people say defund the police. And an infamous one that a lot of liberal Democrats will do, and even but this is more of a Republican problem. They'd be like, so we should defund the police and invest in social services. Oh no, blacks love the police. Blacks love seeing the police patrol their neighborhoods. But anyway, it's like they try to, it's like it's I guess the best is like motivated reasoning. I'm thinking of manufacturing consent to continue these backwards policies. And I guess we're talking about the whole pro-Israel American relationship. And this bitch, Joe Biden, Fetterman, and many other people are closing their ears to their voters and saying, la, 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 I'm not listening. That's literally what's happening. And continually trying to reframe the conversation around conspiracism or what happened on October 7th when they are like, they're like tenured politicians that know that what's happening and what's going on in the Gaza Strip is much more complicated than Hamas and Israel.
And I want to ask the FBI to investigate that. But apart from that, let's just say it's all spontaneous and sincere. Let's say it's all spontaneous and sincere. Young people care about the right to choose. They care about LGBTQ issues. They care about preserving the planet. They care about gun violence prevention. That's what they tell us. They care about our democracy and the freedom.
What really gets me about how she's framing it now as we close out this video, this is a threat to younger people. So this bitch could not find it within herself to do the right fucking thing. So now it's basically saying like, okay, fine, don't vote for us. We'll let the fascists kill you. And I'll be safe because I'm a white, tenured, rich politician. So young people that are, gay or colored or, concerned about other, socio-political issues from a more liberal or left-leaning standpoint. Oh, you're concerned about these things? Oh, don't vote and then we'll let the Republicans just kill you. That's your problem. That's literally what's being fucking said here, bro. She's like acting passive about it, but when political games and how politicians will often at the time reword stuff. They would reword threats to sound non-threatening, and that's what she's doing right now. Both liberals and conservatives would do it. Even white supremacists would do it. Oh, I don't think any race is superior. I just think white people deserve to have a place of their own. But anyways, my point being is that this bitch is literally threatening every last one of us, bro. Talking about, basically saying we're gonna take away, if you don't vote for us, we're gonna let Republicans kill you and or destroy your lives and kill the planet. And that won't be my problem because I'm an affluent liberal woman with a career in politics and I'm rich. That's literally the vibe that she's giving off when she says this shit. It's so fucking tone deaf. But at the end of the day, bro, it's like I always say for rich people like this. These people are not deafened or they are not like uneducated about the socio-political issues that young people are concerned about or the things that's going on around them. Nancy Pelosi may to some extent be a huge fucking Zionist that hate Palestinians and just like seeing bad things happen to Palestinian people because she's talked herself into the lie that all Palestinians are Hamas or whatever the fuck they tell one another. So yeah, like terrible. Okay, continue threatening us.
items that are contained in some of what I said. So they're going to have to make a decision, staying home to enable or to organize,
Yeah.
not agonize, but
Yeah, agonize. Fuck you. So basically, it's like if you stay home, we're gonna let the fascists destroy the planet and possibly make laws to make it illegal to be black and queer. Or you can come vote for us so you get the same old liberal abstemiousness and finger wagging. And we are and we we always stop short of common sense reform and common sense policies that young people and people of color or whatever are asking us for. We'll just stop short of it. But you don't vote for us, we'll let them do it.
organize and get out there and get the job. I have every confidence that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be President and Vice President of the United States. I know we will carry the House. I'm confident that we can improve our numbers in the Senate, and we can do it because we're going to own the ground with our organizing.
See, what's funny, bro, is about, like, don't get me wrong, I don't think Tanky's an anti-electoral, I guess to be anti-electoral, you are kind of anti-intellectual, but that's a whole nother combo. But my point being is that, so it's like this, man. Like, okay, that's the issue, Nancy. That's the issue that a lot of, and this is what's causing a lot of people, especially now that are like, Muslim and Arab. This is what's causing a lot of young people. This is what's causing a lot of young socialists and anarchists to not want to go to the voting booth. Because it's like, what's the fucking point? Because sometimes, bro, I will say this. At the end of the day, I'm probably going to vote for Joe Biden and shit, and I advise you to do too. Because you don't want, actual white supremacists in office. But it stands as this. It seems as though, Nancy, no matter how many of you motherfuckers get in office sometimes, there's no actual change to the status quo. We vote you fucks in, but you don't implement or do any of the policies that we're asking for and telling you. In fact, a lot of the time you'll do the exact opposite and sometimes side with Republicans. And this bitch and Joe Biden, dumbass, will sometimes do we gotta have a bipartisan government and work with each other. Like how Biden dumbass did, because Greg Abbott was partaking in insurrectionary behavior, and instead of getting on his ass and said, no, I'm federalizing the National Guard, fuck you. He's talking about some, well then, work with me to keep brown people out. And I would end this video, saying, it's advised that you vote Democrat, but shit like this is why a lot of people don't. Thanks for watching.